Lenora. Welcome back to the channel. You may or may not know this, but I love talking and I love meeting new people. Today via Skype, I'm speaking to someone who is changing the perception of the vegan lifestyle, not just in everyday life, but in the realm of bodybuilding. Torre Washington, the vegan bodybuilder. You're gonna know Torre a lot more after this video. We're gonna understand a bit more about the vegan lifestyle, and also he's gonna give me some insight about Centr Fit, which is a new fitness application that Chris Hemsworth has just released to the world. Let's get straight to the interview. Other than me telling the story, you tell the story. Who is Torre Washington? Let them know you.
First and foremost, Lenora, thank you so much for, giving me the opportunity to share my story and, talk about my journey in life as it is right now to this present moment. So I really, really appreciate it. And thank you to your audience for, providing this platform for us here to, express who we are. I was raised vegetarian and I went vegan in 1998. And a lot of times people don't realize this part is between that vegetarian vegan transition, which really wasn't a transition for me. I did consume animal products, and it was only because of living with my grandparents. My mother, who wanted a better life for her children, she was a single mom, decided to send me and my brother to her parents in Jamaica. And then we lived in Jamaica for a couple of years, went to school there, everything, and then moved back to the States in South Florida. And during that process, I was still consuming animal products, but around 1998 timing, I decided, because I just picked up on the lifestyle of the Rastafarian and understanding more about the Ital being how it's natural, and the Rastaman living Ital is really the way people should live. I believed in that lifestyle, what the belief is, and that we are to live off the land. And I saw a lot of Rasta still eating chicken and fish and those things, and I decided, I don't want to be a hypocrite, call myself Rasta, but still, I'm not truly Ital.
Yeah.
And so at that moment, I made that switch, and that switch was really just me wanting to not be a hypocrite. So my vegan thing came in later, because I didn't know what that was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Maybe you can tell me a little bit more about the Ital. Is that what it is? Because I've heard of Rasta. Please correct me where I'm wrong in pronouncing it. Rastafarian, is that how you say it?
Rastafarian.
Rastafarian. Okay. Yeah. So what kind of culture is that? What exactly is it for those who are hearing it for the first time?
Well, Rastafarian basically takes up its beginnings in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And the reason I said it is a lot of the Rastas were under the tutelage or listening to the speakings from Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And Marcus Mosiah Garvey talked about, a great king coming out of Ethiopia that will go against the colonialization from the different countries, the European countries that were going around colonizing different the African continent, different other countries. You know what I'm talking about when it comes to like Mussolini and all of those guys. And so when this gentleman was crowned in Ethiopia, his name was Tafari Makanet. Mm-hmm. And Ras, he was crowned as head. Ras meaning head. Ras Tafari Makanet. So if you think about it, it's actually just his name that Rastas took upon because they basically looked up to this guy as the king that was the returned king. I'm just summing it up. Yeah. And that's how Rastafari started. The locks came from looking back to history, looking into the African tribe called the Mau Mau tribe, who donned themselves with these locks in order to rebel against what society considered modern man, how he's supposed to look. So this was more of a warrior rebel type of look, and the Rasta decided to pick that up because they didn't want to look like modern man. They're like, who defines what professionalism is? Right. And they considered it Babylon. You know what I mean? So okay. And it's a lot deeper when it goes into, and Ital became because when you look at it from a religious standpoint, from the Bible, you look at the Garden of Eden. Mm-hmm. And the Garden of Eden every man was to live off everything that was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so Rastas looked at that as, hey, that's how we're supposed to live. It's supposed to be ital. And the reason, instead of it being natural, if you think about it, natural, ital, sound very similar. Rastas believe then that I and I is one with the Most High. So I is always in front of everything.
Right.
So we take out not, and we're not, we're ital. That's how it is.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, so coming back to the vegan part. Okay, I'm sure lots of people already know the benefits of going vegan, but maybe from your point of view and your how you've been living the life, can you tell why people should consider going vegan?
This question comes up a lot. It's very tough to say that there's a benefit in the sense this will make you blah blah, because scientifically, we all are unique individuals, and to sum it up as you go vegan, the benefits are here and here and there, but I can give you some tidbits of the things that do come about when you make that lifestyle switch. The one thing for me, the switch to being vegan, I didn't like I said, I didn't know that that's what it was called. Not until I've had someone kind of almost word I'm looking for. They questioned my integrity in a sense.
Right.
I went to a vegan festival just to get food and hang out and learn more. And now, mind you, I'd already been eating that way. And I have wearing Timberlands. Timberlands are made out of
animal
leather.
Yeah. Right.
So I didn't know, because my vegan lifestyle came about not because of that. And so someone asked me, hey, are your shoes vegan? And I looked at them like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not going to eat my shoes.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it, for what I consumed based on for nutrition. So it was not until a journey and a process of learning more about what goes into the lifestyle of a vegan. And mind you, I never even thought about the health aspect of it, because to me it was just the way I ate. I had been doing it for so long. It was not as I looked at it as, hey, I'm better than you because my health is great because I'm eating more fruits and vegetables than you are. But come to find out, now we fast forward, we are seeing the dawn of a new time, new age, where people are realizing that, man, taking in more fruits, vegetables as the highest part of what we take in as nutrition is better for our body. We are having faster recovery. We don't have clogged arteries. We lessen the chance of heart disease. We increase our, like I said, we increase our recovery. And also when we look at it from just a standpoint of where protein actually comes from, most of the animals that most people eat or consume for food get their nutritional breakdown, their amino acids, from plants. Because if you look at plants, have the amino acids and the animal ingested, and therefore they increase their size, and then we ingest the animal. So it's almost like the animal saying, hey, look, hold up, dude. This is where I'm getting mine from. Why are you eating me? I just want to live. You don't see me saying, oh, that's a cattle prod and a what do you call it? A nail gun. Hey, let me walk towards. I don't know you need me for food. They don't. They run away from it. They're like, dude, why are you killing me? I was just here to graze and enjoy life. You can graze and enjoy life too. So.
Okay.
The benefit, I would say benefits are, your quality of life, because a lot of times people recognize that as we're starting to see how animal products can cause different illnesses and I've had people in my family pass away from colon cancers, bursting in lower intestines, things of that nature, because as it just piles and piles up in the intestines, we're not doing what we need to in order to release or remove that waste, because meat takes a long time to break down.
What about those who can't actually handle the carb amounts? For example, some of my friends, they're physique competitors. They did lose when they were cutting, but then what was interesting was when they got off the cut, they started eating way more
and somehow it just didn't work anymore for them because it was predominantly more carbs rather than them getting the protein intake. So what about those who can't handle the carb amounts?
Carbohydrates aren't the enemy. And I know a lot of times
Okay.
people look at it as, oh man, okay, if I go vegan or I go more plant-based, it's going to be a lot of carbohydrates. And it depends on how you do it, because there's a myriad of foods out there that can offer the nutrient value you're looking for. Doesn't necessarily have to be so heavy carb or carb heavy in a sense, you know. But in that case, if you go from a lifestyle where you weren't taking in a lot of carbs, and then now you just up and increased it, you're gonna have an adverse reaction, because your body has to adjust to such an increase in carbohydrates, especially if you've been doing it, let's say 30 some years, you've been eating this way. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm gonna go vegan because I don't want to harm animals, and this is just what I feel is good for my heart. But then my heart emotionally, and then you start eating that way, and you eat similar to how you used to eat, but you want to eat more foods that have higher carbohydrate, that are more calorie dense, and you put on all this weight, and then you're saying, okay, this is not working for me. You have to be able to slowly walk into it. Some people don't have the metabolism to break things down that fast. It takes some time, you know. So for example, I know myself, my metabolism is pretty high. So carbohydrates, I used to prep eating 300 to 600 grams of carbs a day all the time, even up to the day of the show.
That's
and people
bliss.
look at me like, what is wrong with you? You know, what are you talking about? You can drop your carbs? No. What is that? You know, I didn't understand that. You know, but I see that some people need to do that, and you can do that in the vegan lifestyle. You just have to change up the types of things that you're eating or consuming. You know, if you think about leafy greens, they are not carbohydrate heavy or calorie dense, but they can have a lot of volume. So you can just eat more of that. Now, but then you run into the problem of those who aren't used to having such an increase in fiber, then they start to have that bloating effect. So you have that. So you have to almost balance things. You have to take your time, because some people go from not having enough fiber to all of a sudden all this fiber, and they're like, man, I'm always bloated, because their body never got the opportunity to adjust to the fiber intake. So they have to slowly increase, you know, eat foods that aren't as fiber heavy and carb heavy. You know, you got lentils, you got different legumes, edamame, you know, different things that their fiber intake is not as high. You know, you just have to slowly increase it, because I think it's more the fiber than the carbohydrate. Because once you start to get your body adjusted to that fiber, man, you know, you'll be a happy camper. 3 times a week, 3 times a day, you go into the bathroom, you cleaning it out, you got to flush it out.
Yeah, you flush all the toxins. Just like taking the superpower, the super powders, for example, the green powders, except for eating it. Okay. So
exactly, and that's a benefit. If you think about it, that's a benefit, is your bowel movements increase. And a lot of times I've known people that they'll go a week without any bowel movements. You know?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and that means you're full of, you don't want to be full of that.
No, you don't. You want to let it all out.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Then let's talk about that, because like for say someone who is thinking they want to do a shift, they want to have more vegan lifestyle in their nutrition. Okay, but like you said, they're not used to having so much carb. So roughly, how would you advise someone to slowly get into it so that they don't feel the sudden reverse effect of like, oh, I feel too bloated, or I don't know how to digest the carbs intakes too much and stuff like that?
More of an understanding where they're coming from. You know, let's say, for example, your average person is doing about 1,800 calories, you know, based on their height, weight, and their activity level. But they have been doing lots of chicken and lots of fish, maybe a little bit of asparagus, because that's the typical physique competitor style of eating. And then their carbohydrates is probably just white rice, brown rice, sweet potatoes, or regular potatoes, right?
Yeah.
Or rice cakes. But their fiber intake, if you look at that, is not very heavy. There's no fiber there except for maybe the asparagus, which doesn't have much.
Yeah.
So we now have to look at, okay, this is how you've been eating. We have to kind of mirror that and increase slowly with different foods. Because another thing that we tend to do is people look at the vegan lifestyle and say, man, what do you eat? I have all this stuff. I have so many options that I'm like, okay, what do I want to eat? Or what should I eat? Because there's so many different things you can eat. I think we don't even realize how many different types of vegetables there are, how many different types of fruits there are on this planet that possibly have a lot less fiber than you need, but it has a good amount of other nutrients in it, vitamin K, vitamin, B6, or whatever it may be. So we have to compare what you're currently doing and sort of mirror that and slowly increase it so that you can get to that point where your body is adjusted to that, and your enzymes and the gut flora and all that can break things down efficiently. But a lot of times people just jump into it and start doing it the same way they were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And some people can do that. Some people have no problem with that. But like I said, everybody's unique. So everybody's a little different. You have to be able to take your time with it and also be persistent, have patience. And, all that plays into everything. If we don't have persistence and patience, you almost can fail at just about anything you put your mind to.
Exactly. There's no consistency in doing it, right? As a physique competitor, do you take any supplements at all?
When I started competing in 2009, so 2009 was the first time I did my first competition. And I've always been into bodybuilding. I was reading magazines, looking at comics. I mean, I got started into bodybuilding because of comics, wanting to emulate. Right. I was drawing characters like Wolverine, Superman, wanting to emulate these guys. Yeah. And when I found out that you can look like that by lifting weights, because I started to see Arnold Schwarzenegger, I said, okay. So I got into it. I started reading every magazine I could on bodybuilding. And I wanted to do it earlier on in middle school, right? 16 years old, 15. And I just never did it. So I ended up just going to high school and still working out continuously and going. I would go to competitions. I would check shows out. And so it's not until I graduated, started working in corporate America, that I decided to do a competition because I saw a friend compete. And he won, got off stage. Lenore, I was like, damn, he looked good. He was like a superhero. His abs were chiseled. Everything looked amazing.
And you were like, not that. I want what he's got.
Yeah, I want to look like that. I said, you know what? I don't want to live my life and get to the end of it and said, I wish I had competed. Mm-hmm. So I said, I don't want to be the one. I don't want to have no woulda, woulda, coulda, and shouldas. And I asked him because he had been doing it for a little time. And he was like, you're vegan. I was like, okay. I didn't say that's the thing. I didn't think like that. I didn't think that how I ate affected how I needed to look. I figured it's all nutrition, And so I was not into the supplement thing. I decided I liked, everybody was talking about creatine and all these other things. I was like, why? Just eat. And I loved eating. I didn't want to have to take my calories in drinking something. I wanted to eat. Mm-hmm. And so I just kept doing it that way. I was very adamant about doing it natural, just eating food. And so 2009 all the way up till last year, where I hired someone to have different eyes, another set of eyes to look at me, because I always took care of myself. I always prepped myself, winning shows and doing it myself. Not taking it. People were like, you don't take BCAAs? No. Oh my gosh. You know what you would look like if you did? Like, what are you talking about? To me, it was just like, I didn't want to take that stuff. So not until last year, Lenore, because I didn't want to say, hey, don't take it. I don't want to knock something unless I gave it a shot. So when I hired a coach who said, hey, I think because you're vegan or whatever, you should take BCAAs. And I said, all right, we'll see. And because they increased my protein intake, it was hard for me to balance that with fats and carbohydrates that were needed with such a high protein intake. You know what I mean? Because a lot of foods in the plant-based world are either high fat or high carb, like you're talking about. So you just have to balance it with certain specific foods. And I was able to do it, but then I threw in a couple of protein shakes just to make it more convenient and a lot less thought process. So I really haven't started doing protein shakes until now. So those are the only 2 supplements that I really take. I'm not into the pre-workout, post-workout, none of that stuff.
Okay, so it's protein shakes and BCAAs, and the protein shakes, is it pea protein? Is it hemp protein?
Yeah, it's pretty much pea protein. You know, there's multiple different ones out there. Like I just got a sample of a sunflower seed protein.
Okay.
I can't wait to give that one a shot. So, you know, that lets you know, Lenora, protein is in 99.9% of everything that's grown on the planet. And a lot of times people look at it as, where do you get the protein? You can get protein in a full-size watermelon. I think a full-size watermelon has about 25 grams of protein.
Okay. Great. Now we're hitting the part which I think everybody wants to know. Where does Torre get his protein from? Well, other than the pea protein, which was last year or currently now, where else do you get your protein? And this is actually coming from a friend. She wanted to know, how do you pair it? Because I keep hearing like you need to pair certain foods.
Oh,
yeah.
My gosh.
So explain this to me. Explain it to me. I've been dying to hear the explanation for this.
So, Lenora, that information in regards to pairing or making a complete protein is very old.
Okay.
It's old and outdated, and the information that we have now based on science and based on our body is our body will grasp the amino acids from whatever you're eating at that moment. Even if it's not all 9 essential or whatever the 20 essential amino acids that we need, your body will hold on to it until you grasp the others and then put it together. It's not where you need to have a complete protein at every single meal. You know, and that's been a misconception. What'd you say?
Misconception.
Yeah, misconception about getting in a complete protein. So, with that being said, I get protein from pretty much everything that I eat. You know, so some of my favorite higher amount sources would be your edamame, your tofu, tempeh, seitan, which is the name or terminology for wheat gluten. Also, spirulina, lentils, broccoli. All greens have protein. Pretty much all fruit has protein. Now, mind you, it may not have 20 grams, but there's protein there. You know, and I think a lot of times we are so consumed with, if I weigh this much, I must have this much. And that's not necessarily true, because your lean body mass may be totally different than that person, even though you guys weigh the same. You know, so you might be eating entirely too much protein for your body. Just because you weigh 130 don't mean that, and she weighs 130, you both should get 170 grams of protein. You might be eating way too much. Your lean body mass based on your 130-pound weight might be only 85 pounds. So your protein intake is probably 102 grams. You know, a lot of times people think they need so much more and honestly, you don't. And that's where it comes from, you know, as far as me getting it. I get it in all those places. And, you know, because I tabulate it. I mean, I'm getting it from nuts. I'm getting it from almonds. I'm getting it from walnuts. I'm getting it from peanuts. I'm getting it from cashews. I'm getting it from sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. You name it, you know, I'm getting it from there. Anything that you pull from the ground, I'm getting protein from it.
And I think that is where the confusion and misconception comes from, because people are it's just like, you know, typical bodybuilding. They always say, a lot of people think it's always chicken and broccoli and potatoes, for example. And I think people fail to see that there's so much variety in food. And I think that is where they have that complication, like they don't know where you get your protein from. Or even like, for example, for me, people go like, what do you eat? I eat a lot of things. And they're like, really? It's not just chicken? I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, well, as you get closer to your competition, you tend to get lower on the calories. So you're just restricted by how many calories you take in. So it changes out maybe the amount. For example, if you can't have that same amount of food, amount of ice cream, right? or maybe you just can't have it at all because your caloric intake for that day will drastically change if you have that scoop of ice cream. Like, well, crap, I'm gonna be able to eat later on. So those are the things that you basically are giving up if you go that route. But you can eat a variety of foods and still get the same look. I think people are finding that it's like this old archaic idea that you have to eat these specific foods. They're magic to get your body to look a certain way.
No, there's no magic pill. There's no such thing. It's just, I would say, is always the awareness of knowing what foods you can actually take on Earth. Okay, then it comes to something which I found interesting. A few friends of mine, people who have gone the vegan route, some of them don't look as healthy as, they look a little bit malnourished. They don't look like you, Torre, because you look like you've got plump skin and everything. You know what I mean? It's nice and taut. But some of them, they look quite haggard. What could be the reason for it?
And that could be true. A lot of times people are often not versed on how much they should eat. Because like I said before, people will eat a salad and think, okay, that was one of my meals. You do realize that the calorie density in that salad was probably 80 calories.
Yeah.
But they don't think about it like that. They think, oh, okay, I had a salad with some tomatoes and some carrots and some raw broccoli and a couple, couple pebbles of garbanzo beans, and I'm good. No, man, you got to eat more than that. A lot of times people don't eat enough. They're not eating enough, sleeping enough, getting enough water. And there's another supplement that people talk about, which is not a vegan thing. B12 is a supplement that is missed by a lot of people. It doesn't matter if you're vegan or not, because we live in a society now where everything is washed of bacteria. B12 is a bacteria. It's a microorganism that grows on the ground. And most of the cattle don't eat from the ground anymore. They are fed in a factory with soy. So they're not getting it. Therefore, you're not getting it. It's not to say that we aren't getting it per se in the sense that you can't get it from food, because there's a lot of food vegetation that you can get it from. The thing about it is we have to look back at our digestive system. A lot of times our digestive system is so disturbed based on our eating patterns that our gut flora doesn't allow us to digest and absorb some of the nutrients that we need. So we then take it by a pill or drops in order to get it. But if you think about it, that's not actually the natural way to get it. So it's still foreign. The body has to process it a certain way. So I do take a B12 every now and then, and that's only because they made it such a big thing now. I'm surprised that you asked me the protein question when now that B12 has become the next big thing. Like, where do you get your B12? And if you think about it, back then no one said anything about B12. Now B12 is a big thing. So yeah. Did I miss your question?
No, that was it. That was it. And okay, since I'm on that too, on the B12, then what about fish oil? Because they do say that fish oil is good for fat loss, and it is a necessary thing for it. So how do you get your fish oil?
So is that broken down into what, omega-3s, omega-6?
Yeah, the omega-3s, omega-6.
You can get all that from flaxseed, a lot of different flaxseed, I think it is, chia seeds. All those things contain that as well. Every vitamin that you're looking for, you can get it in the plant world. And I think a lot of times it's just being informed. A lot of us we're not informed of where we can get these things from. And we continuously talk about this on a continuous basis. I see that even in the community, the plant-based vegan community, we share this stuff often so people can see that, you can get that without having to take a supplement. Because getting it in a more natural state is better than having to take a supplement, because, again, it's the synthetic form of where it came from.
Is it better to cook your veggies or just eat it raw?
It depends. Certain veggies have their nutrients improve upon cooking, and some of them are better raw. I think, for example, I'll just give you an example. I think tomatoes are better cooked. They have this, I forget what the actual vitamin is, but it's activated once it's cooked, which is
Mm.
very interesting.
Mm.
Even though tomatoes are actually, they're so good raw and fresh, just cut a nice tomato, but they have a substance in it that actually is released upon cooking. And
Oh.
I think it's also, I think carrots are better raw or cooked too. But it depends, It's good to have them both ways, I believe. But I like to have mine mostly cooked. The raw ones, I don't cook spinach, or I like salads. I'll do salads, but I'll have to add some balsamic vinegar to mine and lemon. That's about it.
Right.
Whereas most people putting all this, some people are having, man, that's a nice dressing with your salad, or nice. What do they say?
Well, that Caesar salad or like the Thousand
How
Island.
some people have so much more dressing than the salad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what people tend to do, and so it's almost negating the actual salad because you're adding about 300 calories to it with this thick
Sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally like forgoes the whole point of having a salad.
Correct.
Okay. Right. How do you meal prep your foods? Like, how often do you actually prep? Is it every 3 days? Is it like every day do you just cook?
So honestly, I'll cook or make food on one day of the week. It's maybe like Sunday, or I just make a whole bunch of stuff, and then I'll just pick from it throughout the day. Because my lifestyle is much different than it was in the past when I was in corporate America. You had your break, lunch break, and then you go home. So I would prep then. I would pack meals and know what I'm eating. Whereas now I have the flexibility and the freedom to what do I want to do today? I can change things up.
Right.
So I don't necessarily prep anymore. And I feel like because I'm doing the macro style and sometimes off of macro style, because before macros, I was intuitive. Meaning I just ate and looked at how I want my physique to look. When I felt like I was going a little bit too much, I would cut back on something. And that would be, maybe I'm eating too much peanut butter sandwiches. So I cut back on that peanut butter.
We can eat the whole jar, buddy. We will eat the whole jar.
Telling you. I like it crunchy. Crunchy, that's my favorite.
Peanut butter, almond, pistachio, or cashew. Which would you pick?
Yeah, that's tough between peanut and almond. But I would say peanut.
High five. Okay, now I want to talk to you about Centr, which is the new big thing that you're on. You told me that when I met you at the Shawn Rhoden Classic, you just came back from Australia shooting that. So Centr Fit, for those of you who don't know, is Chris Hemsworth's new fitness app. And you are one of the trainers on it. Congratulations. So exactly,
Thank you.
What is Centr? How does it work? I tried to look for it. I'm upset it's not on Android.
Yeah, you got to catch up with the times, girl.
So what is your role on the app? Do you just train? Do you give nutrition? What exactly do you do on the app?
My role is the muscle building portion of Centr.
Okay.
They wanted my expertise as a bodybuilder on there because they wanted to incorporate everything: functional training, HIIT training, strength training, muscle building, boxing, all of that. And so I took on the muscle building aspect of it, and also me being vegan was an important thing as well because it showcased that they wanted to include everybody because there's also vegan meal-based plans on there as well,
right?
To incorporate everyone. And so and that's why I said I was truly honored because they could have picked anybody. There's a lot of people out there now. Now even though I blazed the trail for people to showcase that they can do this as a vegan. There's many who came behind me. So they could have chose anybody. So to be given this opportunity, man, I am truly fortunate. I appreciate it. So anytime I get these type of things coming up, for me, it's just a pleasure.
Did you train Chris for a bit? Because the video, the one that I
yes.
Okay.
Such a cool dude. inside you're like, oh my gosh.
And I was watching the video, and then you were like drilling. He's like, okay, go on, one more rep, one more rep. I was like thinking, okay, how is he holding it together? I bet he's like so excited. If it were me, I'd be like, oh my gosh. Then now let's come back to Centr. So what can we expect from Centr? Like, is it worldwide? Everybody can just
Yes, global. The Facebook is where a lot of the people from across the world are connecting, and a group chat where it's a community where we all work together to give people tips and advice when they are struggling with certain things. You have some people who said, man, I just had an extra blah, blah, blah donut or something. And how do you guys, get over these cravings? Or for example, someone asked me questions about the program that I have set up. How can I, if I don't have dumbbells, what can I do instead in order to make sure I don't mess up in making this program work for myself? And then people talk about how it's so tough. It's different things. So having this community, it's just growing. I mean, it's such a fantastic app. You're like, dang, this thing is top notch.
Right.
To have that, you have, and all these guys, the trainers, they're all experts in their field. So to be included amongst that group of people, you kind of think, I know sometimes I look and I'm like, man, okay, I guess I know what I'm doing.
I'm going to do like a lightning round with you. 10 questions, answer as fast as you can so we get to know you even further. You ready?
Okay.
Favorite vegetable?
Japanese sweet potatoes.
Favorite treat?
Pizza.
I'm assuming it's a cauliflower pizza. Is it a cauliflower pizza?
They do that, but that's not it. No.
Favorite body part to work out on?
Oh my gosh. Back.
Okay. And hardest body part to work on?
Shoot, what's the hardest body part?
You mean you're just glorified all over it? There's nothing that's hard?
No, I mean, I love them all. Okay, maybe calves.
Calves. Interesting. How come it's always guys and calves? Okay. How long have you had your dreadlocks?
22 years.
Fitness idol.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
High five again. Okay. Last thing you do before you sleep.
Last thing.
Not counting now.
I would say, because once I lay in the bed, I kind of, almost like a self-meditation, because I just kind of let my whole body, because I fall asleep, literally, Lenora, I can fall asleep in 10 seconds. Anywhere, like I've fallen asleep next to a speaker in a club.
That's such a great skill. I want that skill. Say anywhere in the world, where and why?
Japan. Why? I love the culture, love anime, such amazing people, clean. I mean, what else? I mean, I loved it. I had a great time there, and I would love to go back.
Favorite anime?
What?
I didn't know that you like anime. That's fresh for me. Okay.
Favorite anime?
You gotta pick one.
Dang. I guess I gotta. Oh, it's a toss. Man, I've watched so many. You don't understand. I've watched so many. Even though I know the new ones that are popping, Naruto and Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, I love
I just
Dragon
have
Ball
to.
too.
I guess what?
I love Dragon Ball.
I guess I'm gonna have to say Dragon Ball.
That I don't know, yeah, but I get what you're feeling because I used to collect anime,
Dude.
Yeah.
I got tons. We used to watch tons in college.
Woo!
So many different ones. I mean, Ninja Scroll.
Oh my gosh, Ninja Scroll! I haven't heard that in ages.
Actually, where was I? I was in somewhere, and it came on, and I was like, what? I had to watch it. I had to.
Did you ever do? Okay, this is going out of the question, but did you ever do Ranma and Inuyasha?
Oh yes, Inuyasha, yes.
Yes,
But Ranma, I don't know if I've done Ranma.
You haven't?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go do that. Go do that one. That was my favorite. No judging. I had a crush on Ranma. Okay, I'm weird like that. I actually have crushes on cartoons, but don't judge.
Yo, I mean, listen, Akira.
Oh, Akira. Yeah, that's really that was only one or two, Akira.
Yeah. Also, One Punch Man.
Oh, okay. I have not actually seen One Punch Man.
Oh, you gotta see One Punch. What?
Okay.
It's
Well, I need to
hilarious.
Okay, I need to catch up. Final question. Change one thing in the world and why?
I would change the prejudice. I think most people prejudge people based on false expectations that appear real. Fear. I would change that prejudice, that people would look at people as just people, not what they have been given this idea. Because I was just talking to someone about that. I watched a series on this gentleman was talking to an older lady who was of a different race, and she said, based on what she's been given from the news, she automatically assumes that this group of people are robbing and stealing the most. No matter that their population is small, she feels like they have been doing it the most. So I think that prejudice, I would change that.
Cool. Nice. All right. Now, final one. Where can people find you under the Centr? Where can they find you? What's your Instagram? What's your Facebook? Go ahead. Pimp yourself out, man.
TorreWashington.com. Torre.Washington Instagram. Torre Washington official, I think it's Twitter. Official Torre Washington YouTube, and Torre Washington Facebook. All my name, Torre Washington.
And that's what you call very good branding. Boom, people.
Hey, you know it.
Thank you so much, Torre. I'm sure there are a lot more questions one day, which I'm going to ask you about it.
Oh yeah, if you think about it, we have a lot more we can cover. There's so much more. You only peel back a little layer.
Well, then, okay, that's a day. That means we have to schedule another one.
Hope you enjoyed that interview session I had with Torre, and if you learned something new from the video, do give it a thumbs up. And if there is anybody else you feel or think I should interview here on my channel, do drop me a comment below and I'll see if I can get in touch with them. I believe that we can all learn something all the time from each other. Click subscribe and hit that bell button for notifications, and do follow me on all my social medias, which is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, may the gains be forever in your favor.